And we are live. Let's see, guys. Talk to me. Let me know. Can you hear me? We have QDG Minx. We have Lizzie, 5 Lizzies. We have Norris. Welcome back, guys. We have Daisy. We have Jay. Beautiful, beautiful. Hello, Liu Stanford. Guys, let me know. Let me know. Can you hear me? Hello, Daisy. Hello, Ari. Hello, Ben. Hello, BBN Animations. Hello, Close Content. HZ. Hello, Paul Vin. QDG Mink says, yes, sir. Come on. Aquafina, hello. Beautiful song called Aquafina. Davinder Sin, hello, hello. Vam says, yes, hi. Neve says, hey, I'm here. Hello, Neve. Good to have you. Hello, Belinda. Hello, James. Hello, Yashi. Hello, Emma. Hello, Paul Vin. Hello, Galaxy Logesh. Guys, it's going to be a good one today. It's going to be a good one today. Hello, Milsa. Hello, Izmir. Aviator, Bob. Ishinobi. Come on. HZ said, hi, Matt. Came back from dance class right now. Hey, nice one. Very, very nice. Still keeping up with the tutu exercise over the exam period. That's very good. That's very good. What kind of dance do you do? Are we talking street dance, break dance, contemporary dance? CJ Scorcher, hello. Hello, Crystal says, what's up? What's going on? Let me have a quick look over on the TikTok. Who've we got with us today? We have Kimia, we have AB, we have Chloe. Beautiful. Welcome, everybody. We're going to be starting this paper at 1:05. To anybody who hasn't been here before, welcome to the community. I'm going live every day between now and paper 2. I'm also going to be going live ahead of paper 3, but for now, we're focusing on paper 2. Jack says, are you doing a cram course on Tuesday? I'm going to be going live all night on Tuesday. I've got a bit of a sore throat, guys. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm going to be going live all night on Tuesday, and everything is going to be completely free. Everything's going to be completely free. I've been told by so many people that I should charge for something. But guys, I want to do it for free, so as many of us as possible can join. Neve said, go get a drink. I've got my drink over here. Actually, I've got a few drinks today. QDG says, sir, don't charge. Don't worry, QDG. I'm not charging. We're doing it for free. To anybody who's currently watching on the TikTok, consider coming over to the channel. That's where I focus on the chat. I'm always live on both at the same time. All of the lives are also recorded and uploaded straight to the YouTube, so you can see the recordings over there. Lizzie says, take a selfie at the start of the stream. Okay. All right. QDG said, sir, let me guess you were playing Clash Royale before the live started. I've actually not been into Clash Royale for a while, so I wasn't playing it. No doubt in the summer it's going to make a bit of a return. Eng said it's 1 and I haven't had breakfast yet. This is dedication. Man's on that intermittent fasting. HZ said, Matt, you should also dance. I do like a bit of a dance, actually. You gotta love the song and the dance, eh? I don't actually dance properly, though. Like, I'm not like, I don't go to classes or anything. Guys, can you please let me know in the chat? Can you hear the music? I'm going to go silent for about 15 seconds. I would just like you to let me know. For anybody who didn't see it, the My GCSE Maths playlist dropped yesterday. Very highly requested. Can we hear the music? And actually, guys, I'm going to request it for just 30 seconds. You turn your volume up to full blast. I'm not going to say anything for about 15 seconds, and then you'll be able to tell. But the volume needs to be on full blast. Okay, beautiful. Looking like we don't hear it. Thank you, Paulvin. Thank you, NJ. Thank you, Davinder, Yorkshire Dad, Milsa, NSA. Thank you guys very, very much. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Tilly. Thank you, Sarah, over on the TikTok as well. Thank you, guys. Okay. Okay, a couple of people saying I can slightly hear it. I can turn the volume down one click. That's okay. That's okay. Man like Paulvin says, it is time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is time. Guys, we're going to get going. To anybody who's new here, welcome. The format is basically, I'm going to give you a bit of time to do each of the questions. The more marks it's worth, the more time I'm going to give you. And then I'm going to go through each of them, explaining how it's done. We're hopefully going to get through the full paper today. Thank you, Amit, who just left a review. I appreciate that very much. Safia says, where is the playlist? I can put another link to it at the end of the stream if you want. Question number one, drop your answers in the chat for me for this one, guys. It says, write down the inequality shown on the number line. Write down the inequality shown on the number line. Let's see. Yashi's got an answer. What do we think, team? Write down the inequality shown on the number line. We can see that we have a hollow circle above the -1 and then an arrow pointing to the right of it. Nice Lincoln U, nice Neve, nice HZ, only MT, very good, guys. If you said X is greater than -1, you are absolutely right. Now, why is it this? It's this because the circle is above the -1, which is where we get the -1 from. X is greater than it. The crocodile eats the bigger number, so this says X is greater than it. How do we know that? Because the arrow points to the right, to the bigger values of X. And crucially, we don't have a filled in circle, so we don't have the or equal to here. If this circle was filled in, we would have the or equal to. Because the circle is not filled in, we don't have the or equal to. Next up, question 1b. It says on the number line below, show the inequality that y is greater than or equal to -3 and y is less than 4. Because you need the paper printed out for this one, I'll just go through it. What are we going to do? We're going to draw in a filled in circle above the -3. This time it's filled in, and the reason is because we have the or equal to. And then we're going to draw a non-filled in circle above the 4. The reason we don't fill it in is because we don't have the or equal to, and then we're going to join these with a straight line, showing that X is between these values. The nice way to remember this, guys, is that this has more ink on the page, than this. So this has less ink. So this has kind of less ink because it's not filled in. And that corresponds also with these inequalities. So the or equal to has more ink, and the not having or equal to has less ink, and that's why we have one of them filled in and one of them not filled in. So that's just a nice way to remember which way around it is. Guys, I can see that I keep changing color. It's because I'm sitting in front of a big window at the moment, and the sunlight keeps going in and out. So hopefully it's not distracting. Okay, question number 2. Definitely want to be getting this one if you're aiming for grade 5 or higher. It says find the highest common factor, which actually everybody doing higher will be right. Or actually, not everybody doing higher, but yeah, so find the highest common factor of 60 and 84. Light says, yo, sir, how are you? I see you're still helping everyone this year as well. W. Thank you very much, Light. Good to have you back. I remember you from the other year. Yeah, still out here doing our thing. Still out here doing our thing. So, highest common factor of 60 and 84. There's a couple of different ways to do this. We could write out the factors of 60 and write out the factors of 84 and do it that way. So we'd write like 60 has factors, 60 has factors of 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, 6 and 10, 7 doesn't go, 8 doesn't go, 9 doesn't go, and then we can stop because the left-hand side is bigger than the other. And then with the 84, we can do the same thing. We're going to have 1 and 84, 2 and 42, 3 and, I'm going to do that on the calculator to avoid any silly mistakes, 28, Does 4 go? We can type in 84 divided by 4. It's going to be 4 and 21. 5 doesn't. 6 and 14. Let me just check that. Yep. 7 and 12 is going to go. Yep. Does 8 go? No, it doesn't. 9, no. 10, no. 11, no. So we can see that the left-hand side would then be bigger than the right-hand side. From here, we can look for the biggest number, which is a factor of both, and it's going to be our 12. So this is one of the methods we could have used, writing out all of our factors and then choosing the biggest number. The reason why I use this method here is because in all of the other live streams, I've used the Venn diagram method. So the Venn diagram method is an alternate method for this. What you would do is a prime factorization of both of the numbers. Then you would write them out in the Venn diagram, going in their particular spots. And then for the highest common factor, you would multiply the numbers in the middle of the Venn diagram. Either method there is completely fine. You're going to get both marks either way. Okay, moving on now to part B. It says find the lowest common multiple of 24 and 40. Guys, drop your answer in the chat for this one. Let me know what you think. Again, two different ways to do this. We could either use the Venn diagram method, or we could write out all of the multiples of 24 and all of the multiples of 40. Logesh says 120. Sophia says 120. Only MT says 120. Okay, quite a few people dropping 120 in the chat. Let's have a look. Because we didn't use the Venn diagram method for the previous one, I'm going to use the Venn diagram method for this one. So you could use Venn diagram method for both or neither, doesn't matter. So how would we do this with the Venn diagram method? We start off with a prime factorization of 24 and 40. 24, we can split into 2 times by 12. We're going to circle the 2 because it's prime. The 6 we can split into 6 times by 2. Circle the 2 because it's prime. Sorry, the 12, we can split into 6 times by 2. Then the 6 we can split into 3 times by 2. These are both prime, so we're going to circle them both. Remember the first few prime numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, etc. Next up, we're going to do a prime factorization for 40. So we're going to do the same thing. We can write it as 4 times by 10. Neither of them are prime, so we're not going to circle either. The 4 we can then split into 2 times by 2. Circle them both because they're both prime. And then the 10 we can split into 5 times by 2. I'm just going to separate these to make things a little bit clearer. Next step, we're going to draw them out in our Venn diagram. So how do we do that? I'm going to draw out a Venn diagram like this. I'm going to put 24 on the left and 40 on the right. Next up, we're going to put each of our numbers into this Venn diagram. We can see that we have a common factor of 2. So we write that in the middle. We have another common factor of 2. So we write that in the middle. We have another common factor of 2. So we write that in the middle as well. Then we can see the 24 has a leftover factor of 3. So we're going to write that in the 24 only box. And then for the 40, we have a leftover factor of 5. So we write that in the 40 only box. Next step, what can we do? Well, we need to find our lowest common multiple. So we're going to multiply all of the numbers in our Venn diagram. So we're going to do 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. If we did that on the calculator, that would be 120. Let me just double check that because I did that very quickly. 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Yeah, beautiful. 120. And that is going to be our answer. If we wanted the highest common factor, we would have just multiplied the ones inside. It would have been highest common factor equals 2 times 2 times 2, which would have been 8. Okay, team. 5 seconds to screenshot this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on now to question number 3. I know we've been moving pretty fast so far. That's because I want to definitely go through the final few questions in this paper because there's some important ones. Okay, question 3. Just having a quick look at the chat. Hey, thank you, Shima. Just left a review. Appreciate that very much. Nice. The sun's just come out again. So, Question number 3, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes for this one. Let's see. Daisy said these ones are always long and boring. Paulvin said, sir, there's a button on the calculator, it saves time. The reason why I don't teach the calculator method in general is because sometimes it's going to say, show how you got your answer. All these like videos, which are like the 10 calculator tricks you need to go from a grade 4 to a grade 9, guys, to be honest, are all a bunch of BS. It's just people trying to get clicks and views. No calculator tricks are going to save you grades. Sometimes they're going to be helpful for checking questions and that kind of thing, but you're actually better off just memorizing the method as opposed to memorizing the calculator trick. Okay, question number 3. Drop your answer in the chat for me when you're ready, guys. Let's see. Milsa says 80. Jazzy says 80. Logesh says 80. Come on, Hassan. Good to have you on. Good to have you on. Okay. I can see a few more answers going in this chat. Somi, by the way, thank you very much for the message that you sent me on the contact form on the website. I couldn't reply directly via email, but thank you very much. I changed it. I appreciate that. Okay, let's have a look at this one, guys. Question number 3. It says Sam drives his car on a journey. Here is the travel graph for the first 15 minutes of the journey. Work out Sam's speed in kilometers per hour for the first 15 minutes of the journey. So a couple of different ways to think about this. First off, how do we work out speed? We're going to need the formula that speed is equal to distance divided by time, or if you prefer to think of this as a triangle, the triangle is going to look like this: speed, distance, and time. Now, to work out speed, we're going to do our distance divided by our time. So first 15 minutes of the journey. We can see that we set off at 10 o'clock. So the first 15 minutes is going to be to here, which is 10:15. So our time is going to be 15 minutes. And we can see that our distance is 20 kilometers. Now, there's a couple of different ways to think about this. So speed in kilometers per hour. One of the ways is going to be to actually scale up. So we know that we've done 20 kilometers in 15 mins. How are we going to convert this into hours or kilometers per hour? Well, we're going to need to scale up from 15 minutes to 60 minutes, which is 1 hour, right? So we can times by 4. So we're going to times this one by 4 as well. We're going to get 80 kilometers in 60 minutes. So it's going to be 80 kilometers per hour. If you did it that way, that's absolutely perfect. The other way to do it would be to do speed equals distance divided by time. So we could have done speed equals distance was 20 divided by time, but we're going to have to convert this into hours. How do we go from minutes to hours? Well, we divide by 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour. So this is 15 over 60 hours. So we could also think of this as 20 over 15 over 60, or 20 divided by 15 over 60, which would also give 80. So a couple of different methods you could use there. Either one is completely fine. Okay. Part B. Let's have a look at this one, guys. It says at 10:15, Sam stops for 10 minutes and then drives for 20 minutes at a speed of 75 kilometers per hour. On the grid, draw or complete the travel graph for Sam's journey. So we have to draw a 10-minute stop. When we stop, what happens? It says he stops. Well, this means that his distance doesn't change. So distance doesn't change. So we can go to the time at which he stops, and he stops for 10 minutes. So we go 10 minutes across to 10:25, and we just draw a horizontal line because he stopped, his distance doesn't change. Now, what about for the 20 minutes at a speed of 75 kilometers per hour? Well, in order to do this, we're going to need to know how far we travel in 20 minutes. We know that we travel 75 kilometers per hour. So let's convert this, or let's work out how far we travel in 20 minutes. So 75 kilometers in 1 hour, so 60 minutes. How far in 20 minutes then? Well, how do we go from 60 minutes to 20 minutes? We divide by 3. So we're going to go also a third of the distance. So 75 divided by 3 is going to give us 25 kilometers in 20 minutes. Now we just have to draw this on. So we're going to go in 25 minutes. So this is, where shall I write it? 10:25. It was for 20 minutes. So it's going to finish at 45. So somewhere along here. And how far did he travel? We said that he travels 25 kilometers. So he's going to go from 20 up to 45 in total. So now we can join these with a straight line and we're going to get the rest of our graph. So there what I did was I worked out 20 minutes more time. So 20 mins more. And then I added on also 25 kilometers. To be honest, this one's a little bit annoying for question 3. Let me know in the chat, guys. Did anyone get this? Let's see. Slash, did it make sense or are there any questions? I can see lots of people chit-chatting about school. Guys, you can chit-chat about school, to be honest. As long as we keep it appropriate, the chat can also be used for that. Okay, quite a few people saying that one was difficult. Was there anybody who didn't get it? Yeah, nice, Milsa. Who didn't get it, but it makes sense for now? It's a really annoying one, to be honest. Okay, good job, guys, if you did get that. It's a tough one. Faith said it makes sense now. Yeah, thank you, Haida. Jake says, I didn't get it, but now I understand. Awesome, fantastic. This one is another one which we can just go through. I'm actually going to give you a little bit of time, like 30 seconds, no, maybe a minute to think about how you would do this. And then I'm going to go through it. Just because it's a little bit impractical if you don't have it printed off. But there's a particular part of this question which is really good to practice. A, because not many people know how to do it. But B, because I think it's reasonably likely to come up. Neve says, Mike, you're the background noise for this half term. We can do that as well. We can do that as well. That's another reason why I'm liking going live every day, because you can even join and have this on in the background while you're revising for a different subject, to be honest. Okay, 4A. Another 15 seconds or so. Guys, do I keep getting darker and lighter, by the way? Hopefully it's not annoying. Okay, team. Let's have a look. The question says, complete the table for values of y equals x squared minus 2x plus 2. And then we can see the next part of the question that we have to sketch this graph. So how do we do this? A table of values here is going to give us different values of y for given values of x. And each one of those is actually a coordinate which goes on our graph. So we know from this that when x is minus 2, y is equal to 10. So in theory, we could plot this up here at the top. However, we can see that the table is currently incomplete, so we're going to fill it out. How do we fill in the table? Well, we're going to substitute different values of x into our equation, which we can do on the calculator, and then find the value of y. So, for example, if we were substituting in -1, we could say y is equal to x squared, so -1 squared, and it's crucial that you put it in the brackets there, minus 2 times by -1 plus 2. So this is the example for when x is equal to -1. Let me write that in. So when x equals -1, y is going to be equal to this. Now we could type that into the calculator, and it's going to give us 5. 1 plus, yeah, good, 5. Perfect. So it's going to give us 5 if we type that into the calculator. Now what we can do to find the other values is we can just swap this value of x for the other values of x. So when x is equal to 1, we would just swap this to have 1s in the brackets instead of -1. If we sub that in, I'll just type this into the calculator. Oh, no, I won't actually. So we'd have 1 squared, which is 1, minus 2, which is minus 1, plus 2, which is 1. Then we would sub the 2 in. Again, do this on the calculator. We'd have 2 squared, which is 4, minus 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 minus 4 plus 2 is going to be 2. And then finally the 4. 4 squared would be 16, minus 2 times 4, so minus 8 would be 8, plus 2 would be 10. And guys, absolutely do that on the calculator. Next step, for part B, we're going to sketch all of these onto our graph. So I already did minus 2, 10 as the example. Now negative 1, 5. Negative 1, 5. We're going to go halfway between the 4 and the 6. 0, 2. So 0 across 2 up. Then we're going to have 1, 1. So 1 across 1 up is there. Then it would be 2, 2. I think, yeah. Then 3, 5. 3, 5. Bosh. And then 4, 10. 4, 10. There we go. Now, all that we have to do is join these together with a nice smooth curve. It's very difficult to draw on the tablet that I'm on, so I might butcher this horribly. Okay, low key. I actually smashed that. I thought that was going to go horribly wrong. Okay, so, and technically, this little bit at the end shouldn't go past the end here. So I will make it perfect. So if I go like that, there we go. Perfect. Now, a really common mistake is going past these points, but because it says to draw it from x equals negative 2 to 4, we don't actually go past those points. And whoever said that was a positive quadratic, you're absolutely right. So this is generally a smooth, nice, happy-faced, smiley-faced curve because we have a quadratic here. Y equals x squared, which is what makes it quadratic, minus 2x plus 2. Next up, and this is the bit that I really want you to dial in on and pay attention to, because not many people are going to know how to do this, but it's quite likely to come up in the exam, or it's reasonably likely. So use the graph to find estimates to the solution of x squared minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 4. Now this on the left-hand side is our graph. So this is our graph, x squared minus 2x plus 2. So this is our graph. Now we know where, or we need, I should say, where this is equal to 4. So where's this equal to 4? It's going to be equal to 4 when the value of y is equal to 4. So this is basically saying solve. This is equal to 4, which means y is equal to 4. So how do we do it? We draw a horizontal line across for y equals 4. So this is the line y equals 4. And then to solve it, we see where they intersect. So we can draw a dotted line down here and a dotted line down here. We can see that this one is approximately negative 0.8, 8 of these boxes, and we can see this one is approximately positive 2.6. So 2 answers for that. X equals negative 0.8 and x equals 2.6. Now, they're not going to be too worried about you getting it exactly right, as long as it's roughly right. Normally they say like within a region plus or minus 0.2 or something, you're going to be good. Moses said this makes sense. Yeah, guys, can you let me know in the chat if that one made sense, please? If there's anybody who didn't get it, but it makes sense now. Like didn't get it correct the first time around, but it makes sense now. Made sense, pretty solid graph, man, like Matt. JP said, made sense now, pal. Thank you very much for the comment. That's good to hear. Okay. Aquafina said, yes, makes sense. Yay. Bikut says, makes sense now. Awesome. Awesome, 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 guys. Well done. Okay. Question number 5. We have a 4 marker here. Nice question, actually. Nice question. I'm going to give you a good few minutes for this one. I'm also going to set up a quick poll team. And the poll is going to say, because I'm really curious after the one I did yesterday, is this your first session here? There we go. I'm going to set up that poll just to see. My guess, if I was going to guess, is going to be 70% have been here before, 30% are new. Okay, it's mainly the regulars. Oh, that's cool, man. Okay, well, okay, only 54 people have voted so far. Guys, 220 others on. If as many others as possible could vote, that would be absolutely amazing. 90 votes so far, or it's jumping up and down for me for some reason. Let's try and get this up above 150 people voting to get a good sample size. HZ said, oh, could never not be a regular. Come on. Young Knight said third session. Very nice. Welcome, Young Knight, relatively new to the community. Ollie MT said Pythagoras this is. Certainly is. Mamzi, hello. Good to have you on. Tony G. I didn't see your question. Sorry, mate, if you put it in again. QDG Mings. Welcome, mate. Welcome. NJ, I have a quick question, by the way. Obviously, no worries if not, but are you going to be joining on Tuesday evening before paper 2? I am, Sam. I am listening to a song. Can you hear it? Hopefully not. A couple of people asking for the playlist. I released it yesterday, or I posted it yesterday. I'll put the link in the chat again at the end of today's lesson. Oh, you shouldn't be able to hear the music. NJ said, I'll see if I can, but I might be busy on Tuesday. Hey, no worries. It would be amazing if you can join, obviously. Quite a few people asking if it's on Spotify. Yeah, the playlist is on Spotify. Also, actually, if any of the other regulars would like to be moderators ahead of Tuesday, let me know in the chat. And if you've been joining a lot and you've been contributing well to the chat, then maybe I will be able to make you a moderator. I won't be able to do it for everybody, but for a lot of people, or not for a lot of people, for a few of you, I'll be able to. Lincoln, you, I'll make you a moderator. You've been contributing really well to the chat. Okay, guys, let me know when you're ready for this one, and then we'll go through it. NJ, I would also love as well if you could give me your opinion on who would be good moderators, because I'm not looking at the chat as much as you. And I cannot afford to make somebody a moderator who's going to try and mess it up. I can only have people who we really trust. Okay, I don't want to give too long for this question, and I've been waffling quite a while. Norris said 200 people and 55 likes. Show him some love. Thank you, Norris. Yeah, I didn't notice that actually. Yeah, guys, if you could like, that would be amazing. Okay, anyway, let's get going. So here is a right angle triangle. The shaded shape below is made of two of these triangles. We're asked to work out the perimeter of the shaded shape, giving our answer correct to three significant figures. So how are we going to do this? Well, to work out the perimeter, we need to work out the lengths of all of these sides and add them together. So we're going to need this side here, and we're going to need this little side here. We need to think about how to do it. It says that it's made of two of these triangles. So both of the triangles are going to be exactly the same size and have the same side lengths. As soon as I'm seeing this side length here. I'm thinking, okay, I need to work out the hypotenuse of this side. And I have a right angle triangle, and I've been given two side lengths. I'm straight away thinking of Pythagoras. What does Pythagoras tell us? It tells us that for a right angle triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are two of the side lengths and c is the hypotenuse. In this case, our two non-hypotenuse sides are 8 and 10. So to work out the hypotenuse, we can substitute those in. We can say 8 squared plus 10 squared is equal to c squared. This is going to simplify on the left to 164 is equal to c squared. And then we can square root both sides. C is going to be equal to the square root of 164, which I'm going to type into the calculator. Hopefully it's going to be a nice number. Square root of 164. Nope, it's a horrible number. But we can write 12.806, etc. Now it wants the overall answer to 3 sig fig. So for now, I'm going to round it to 4 sig fig, and we can go from there. So I'm going to round it to 12.81. So we can say now that this side length is 12.81 because this is the hypotenuse. Now, what about working out this side length down here? Well, we can see that this side length down here is the difference between the overall hypotenuse of the triangle, which is this side here, and the base of the triangle, which is this side here. Now, what's the base of the triangle? The base of the triangle is 10. So this side length here is essentially going to be 10. Oh no, green's okay for that actually. So that's going to be 10. We know the overall length is going to be 12.81. So working out the little orange one down here, we can do our 12.81 minus our 10. That's going to give us 2.81. So 2.81. Now we have all of our side lengths. We can work them out. Or we can work the answer out. So what are we going to have? We're going to add them all together because we need the perimeter. So 8, which is this, plus 8, which is this, plus 10, which is this, plus 12.81, plus 2.81. I'm going to bring this into the calculator. 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12.81 plus 2.81. And I'm going to get 41.62. Now what do I need to do? Well, I need to give my answer to 3 significant figures. So I'm going to round this to 41.6. First significant figure is the 4, second is the 1, third is the 6, fourth is the 2. So we look at the 2 because it's less than 5. We keep the 6 the same, and we're going to get 41.6 as our answer. Guys, that was a pretty nice 4 marker, I would say. Pretty nice 4 marker. Okay, having a look at the chat. Let's have a look. Adam liked that one. Okay, any questions? Let's have a look. Guys, by the way, all requests to be a moderator come through me. I will be making the final decisions. So please, if it seems like NJ doesn't choose you, don't blame NJ. It's completely my responsibility. So he could say, I recommend this person, this person. And if it's me that says no, don't blame NJ, blame me. I will rely on what he says, but ultimately it's my decision. So don't blame him, blame me. Okay. Moving on now, we're going to go to, actually, no, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go on to question number 6. Let's have a look. Catching up on the chat now, guys. Let's get, this one's a really important question, guys. Okay. I can see a few answers going in the chat. Logesh, Yan, Somi has an answer. Lincoln, you as well. Okay. Okay, QDG Mings. We'll talk about it at the end of the stream. Okay, question number 6. Let's have a look, guys. I can see a lot of answers going in the chat. Floop, Star, Cubber, James. Let's have a look. ABC is a right-angled triangle. Okay, I see a side and an angle. I'm thinking SOHCAHTOA tower. Work out the length of BC. Yep, definitely SOHCAHTOA tower. So step number 1 with a SOHCAHTOA tower trigonometry question is to write out SOHCAHTOA tower. So I'm going to write out SOHCAHTOA and tower. Next step, we label our side lengths. So opposite the angle in the question, we have the opposite side. Opposite the right angle in the question, we have the hypotenuse. I was thinking of the next one already. We have the hypotenuse. And our other side is the adjacent. Next step, we choose SOHCAHTOA or tower based on the angles in the question, or the side lengths in the question, sorry. So we want the opposite side. I'm going to call it X. We have the adjacent. So the sides in the question is the adjacent and the opposite. So what am I going to select? I'm going to select tower because this one includes the opposite and the adjacent. What does tower tell us? It tells us that tan of our angle is equal to our opposite side divided by our adjacent. We can substitute in our values. So tan of our angle, tan of 56, is equal to our opposite side, which is x, over our adjacent side, which here is 12. Now we have an equation which we can rearrange and solve for x. We're going to multiply both sides by 12 because at the moment the x is being divided by 12. So we're going to do 12 times by tan 56, which we're going to type into the calculator. 12 times tan 56, bosh. And we're going to have 17.79. It asks us to give our answer correct to 1 decimal place. So we're going to round this to 17.8. If you got that one, nicely done. If you didn't, definitely revise SOHCAHTOA trigonometry because this is very likely to come up in paper 2 or 3. Or even both, but probably one of the other. Okay, next up, PQR is a right-angled triangle. Work out the size of the angle marked X. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So this time we have another right-angled triangle. So it's another SOHCAHTOA question, but this time we're finding an angle. I'm going to give you 1 minute, and then I'm going to go through it. Okay. Quite a few people dropping answers in the chat. Emily 33.6, Logesh says the same thing. Okay. Okay, team, let's get going. Question, what was it, 8? 6. Question 6b. So what are we going to do? Again, we're going to write out our SOHCAHTOA and TOA. So here we're going to have SOHCAHTOA, TOA. We're going to label our side lengths. Opposite the angle in the question, we have the opposite. Opposite the right angle, we have the hypotenuse. Our other side is the adjacent. We can see this time that the side lengths in the question are the hypotenuse, which we have as 18, and the adjacent, which we have as 15. So because the question involves the adjacent and the hypotenuse, we have them both. We're going to choose the one with the A and the H in it. That is going to be car. What does car actually tell us? It tells us that cos of our angle is equal to our adjacent divided by our hypotenuse. If we sub in our values, what do we get? Well, our angle is x, so we have cos x equals 15 over 18, because our adjacent is 15, hypotenuse is 18. Next up, we're going to do cos to the -1 of both sides to get the x on its own. So this is a really common mistake. How do we move the cos to the other side? Well, what's the opposite to cos? It's cos to the -1 or inverse cos. So we're going to do cos -1 of 15 over 18. I'm going to bring that into the calculator. It does ask us to give our answer to 1 dp. So let's see what we get. Cos to the -1, fraction button, 15 over 18. We're going to have 33.55. 33. Let me go back to green. It looks a bit silly. 33.55, etc. So to one decimal place, we're going to have 33.6. 33.6, that is going to be our answer to this one, guys. Hopefully that explanation made sense. Going to have a quick look at the chat. James R says, when you say car, it sounds like car. I guess so, man. I guess so. So katoa. So katoa. Okay. Neve says, what should I have for lunch? Let me know the options, and I will let you know what you should have for lunch. Okay. Question number 7. Let's see what we can do in this one. 3 marks up for grabs. I'm going to have a quick look. Hey, Maria, good to have you on. Faith says, make a non-Afrobeats playlist for tomorrow. I might do that. I might do that. If so, it would depend what genre we go for. We'd have to decide what genre to go for. Question number 7. Giving about 2 minutes for this one, and then I'm going to go through it. Sienna said, do you do these lives every day at 1? Yes. So for the rest of half term, which is only actually a couple more days, I'm going to be live 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. every day. Tomorrow's a foundation paper. Sunday's going to be a higher paper. Monday evening, I'm going to be doing 2 lives, 1 foundation paper and 1 higher paper. Tuesday evening, I'm going to be live all night. I'm going to do 2 higher papers and 1 foundation paper. So we're going to be absolutely smashing it over the next few days. A couple of people asking where the playlist is. I'm going to share it at the end of the session. I also shared it yesterday. If you go on actually yesterday's live stream, it's in the comments. There's a link to it on Spotify. Okay. Question number 7. Let me know when you have an answer for this one, guys, and I'll go through it. Hassan says, I don't know if the 80 centimeters is the volume or what, because it has the same units as density, and they haven't stated whether it's volume or not. So the 80 centimeters cubed, because it says cubed, is going to be volume. I said, no, it doesn't. Yeah, 80 centimeters cubed. Unless my mouse was over it. Okay. Question number 7. I've given a little bit of time for this, and then we're going to go through it. Let's have a look. Oh, got you, Hassan, got you. Okay. Actually, let's go through it now. Let's go through it now. Question number 7. Liquid A has a density of 1.8 grams per centimeters cubed. Liquid B has a density of 1.2 grams per centimeters cubed. 80 centimeters cubed of liquid A is mixed with 40 centimeters cubed of liquid B to make 120 centimeters cubed of liquid C. Work out the density of liquid C. What do we know about density, guys? Hopefully, or maybe we know the density. Oh, that didn't work properly. The density is equal to mass divided by volume, or as a triangle, looks like a witch's hat, we have density is mass divided by volume. Next step, what can we do? Well, we need to work out the density of C. How are we going to work out the density of C? We're going to do the mass of C divided by the volume of C. How can we work out the mass of C? Well, the mass of C is going to be the mass of A plus the mass of B, and the volume of C is going to be the volume of A plus the volume of B. We know the volume of A and B. It's 80 and 40, and it makes 120 of liquid C. So the volume of C is already done. But what about working out the mass? Do we have the mass of A and B? We don't at the moment, so we're going to have to work those out. So how do we work out mass? Well, it's on the top of the triangle, so we're going to do density times by volume. So we can say that the mass of A is equal to the density of A times by the volume of A. The density of A is 1.8 grams per centimeter cubed, so 1.8 times by the volume of A is 80. And that is going to be 144, I think. 1.8 times 80. Yeah, 144. And I'm actually just going to, just to make this a little bit clearer, guys, what we're doing, I'm going to change that color to orange. There we go. And now for this next one, let's switch color. So we're going to go for now the mass of B, because we need that to work out the total mass. It's going to be the density of B times by the volume of B. Density of B is 1.2. The volume of B is mixed with 40. So we times those together, and we're going to get 48. Let me just double check that on the calculator. There we go, 48. So working out the total mass, well, the total mass is going to be, let's go, I'll just write it over here. It's going to be our 144 plus our 48. So we can now type this into the calculator. 144 plus 48 over 120. So 144 plus 48 over 120. We type that in and we're going to get 1.6 as our answer. 1.6 as our answer. Let me know how that one was, guys. Did you get it right? If you didn't get it right, did it make sense now? Remember, that's my favorite type of comments, is the people who didn't get it, but then after I went through it, understand it, because that's where the gains are being made. Okay, quite a few people saying they did get it. Well done, well done. Awesome, well done, Ashley. Well done, HZ. Yeah, good work, guys. Good work. You're very welcome, Cool Robot. Okay, next up, let's move on to question number 8. It says, write down one thing that's wrong with this cumulative frequency table. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't mess things up. But I'm going to zoom out and zoom back in so you can see all of the information on the page. Guys, talk to me in the chat. What do we think? What is one thing that is wrong with this cumulative frequency table? Cooper says, thank you for explaining. I didn't know how to find the mass. Hey, my pleasure, Cooper. Glad I could help. Glad I could help. Okay, I can see a few answers going in the chat. Logesh says the class width. Paul Vin said the adding is wrong. I don't think it is. No, the adding's correct. Lizzie says, is there another live tomorrow? Yep, live every day between now and paper 2. Okay, guys, so the mistake here, it's actually quite tricky to spot, I would say, is when we go from a frequency table, so this is a regular frequency table, to a cumulative frequency table, we have to make it so that all of the classes start at 0. So all of the classes should start at 0. And the reason for that is because what we're saying when we do the cumulative frequency is that the number of people below 10 is 5. The number of people below 20 in total is 13. Total below 30 is 25. We're not saying that between 20 and 30 is 25. We're saying that below 30 in total is 25. So that's why we have to start all of the classes at 0. Okay, good job if you got that one, guys. Question number 9. Let's have a look. Box plots, box plots. It says work out the interquartile range. Put your answer in the chat for me when you have one. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Tony says I'm annoyed that you can't reply to the chat. So what I will say, guys, is unfortunately I can't answer every question in the chat. I just have to do what's best for the most. Just have to do what's best for the most. Okay. Question number 9. Imzir says 13. We have a lot of different answers for this. We have a lot of different answers for this, I'm seeing. Lots of different answers. Okay, let's have a look, team. What's it going to be? The question says the box plot shows information about the length of time in minutes that some people waited to see a doctor at a hospital on Monday. Okay, box plot. Work out the interquartile range of the information in the box plot. How do we work out the interquartile range? The interquartile range is going to be equal to the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. But first, we need to be able to work out what the upper quartile and lower quartile actually are. How are we going to do that? Well, on our box plot, the value all the way to the left is the lower value, the smallest value in all of the data. This line is going to be our lower quartile. The middle line is going to be our median. This line is going to be our upper quartile, and the line all the way to the right is going to be our upper value. So we need to find this value and this value, which is very awkwardly placed, and subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So what's the bigger value? We can see that halfway between the 160 and the 200, we're going to have 180. And then we can see that between the 180 and the 200, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So 5 boxes. And we can see that that's equal to a difference of 20 minutes. So 5 boxes is 20 minutes. So to work out one box, we can divide 20 by 5. It's going to be 4 minutes. So one box is 4 minutes. We can see also that we're 2 boxes above the 180. So we're going to be 8 above it. It's going to be 188. Now we can use that same logic. We can see where we are for this line down here. Easier way to do this probably is actually going to be to say that this is 60, halfway between the 40 and the 80. And this one is halfway now between the 40 and the 60. So it's going to be halfway between 40 and 60, which is 50. I know there's a lot of information on here, guys. Sorry about that. So now working out the interquartile range, it's going to be our upper quartile of 188 minus our lower quartile of 50. We're going to have 138 minutes. So that's how we do that one. We do our upper quartile, subtract our lower quartile. Good work, young knights. Good work, Asheram. Good work, W. Good work, everybody who got that right. Nicely done, Logesh and young knight as well. Okay, part B. Becky says that 50% of the people waited for at least 2 hours. Is Becky correct? Man like Becky, is she correct? Yes, she is. 50% did wait at least 2 hours. Why is that? That's because our median here is 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. And the median is the value which, when we line all of our numbers up from smallest to biggest, is in the middle. In other words, 50% of our values are below the median and 50% are above the median. So 50% of the people did wait for at least 2 hours. Okay, moving on now, we're going to have a look at this next question. Shall I just go through this one, or shall I give you a bit of time? Let's have a read of the question together. Actually, I'm going to let you guys read it first. I'm going to have a quick look at the chat, see if there's any questions for the last one, and then I'll go through it. Good job, cool robot. Nicely done, Ben, as well. Lincoln, you said the last one was all good. Very nice. Lincoln, I am going to make you a moderator. We're going to do it at the end of the session, though. It's going to be like a knighting ceremony. Okay, so let's read the question then. It says, the table gives information about the length of time in minutes that some people waited to see a doctor at the same hospital on Tuesday. Becky was asked to compare the distributions, blah, blah, blah. She wrote, people had to wait longer on Tuesday than on Monday. Give one reason why Becky may be wrong. Well, how can we think about who had to wait longer? Well, we would think about who waited longer on average. The average from a box plot is going to be the median. We can see the median on Tuesday is 100. The median on Monday was 120. So does that suggest that they wait longer on Tuesday? No, it doesn't. So median is lower on Tuesday. And that suggests that they actually had to wait less time. Okay, moving on to the next question. 5 seconds to screenshot that one if you'd like to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to do question 10. After question 10, we're going to have a very quick break. I'm going to ask for those who are new to maybe consider leaving a review. Helps me out loads, and you know, it's the only way moving forward I'm going to be able to keep doing the free live streams, which I really want to do. Let's see. Question 10. Yeah, that's a good shout, Cat Twix, actually. That's a really good tip. So thank you, Cat Twix. Said, to those of you who don't want to see the answers in the chat, what you can do is you can turn off the chat between the questions if you want to. Personally, I think the chat adds a bit of vibes. It makes it a community. But you can always turn off the chat between the questions, and then just turn it on when I go through it. HZ says, gotta feed my dog, BRB. Lucky dog, lucky dog. Okay. A couple of people are saying that this is a tough one. Ah, thank you, NJ. Cat Twix, would you like to be a mod? If you would, you will also be inaugurated at the end of the session. Okay, 4 marks up for grabs. This is a tough one, to be honest. I just read the question. Hey, thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much, eh? It's the best maths tutor in the world. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Maybe when the stream gets a bit bigger. My dream is to have like 200,000 students on the stream. Like, that would be crazy, man. Like, imagine the day before the first paper next year, there's like half the country on the stream. Like, that would be crazy. A man can dream, eh? Ben Lightdown said, would you do this in reverse? You would indeed. You would indeed. Maria Dar says, what does ANUM mean? ANUM means per year. ANUM means per year. Yeah, exactly, Tech Gaming. Haha, that's cool, Neve. Nice, Faith. Guys, let me know. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready for me, and we'll go through it. Joe Crazy said compound interest, her grade 6. This one's a little bit higher grade, probably grade 7 or 8, just because it's a bit of a problem-solving one. Paulvin says, is your shoulders hurting, sir, because you're carrying us for maths? Team effort, collective effort. Okay, Emily's ready. Anybody else ready? Shout out Bendy. Okay. We're going to move on to our answer for question number 10. Let's have a look. It says Louise invests X pounds in better investments for 3 years. Okay. Sadiq invests X pounds in County Bank for 3 years. Okay, so they invest the same amount. We're given the interest rate for better banks or better investments, and County Bank, we're given the interest rates as well. At the end of the 3 years, the value of Louise's investment is this much. Work out the value of Sadiq's investment at the end of the 3 years. Okay, let's think about this. So we know that Sadiq uses County Bank. We know the interest rates. We need to work out the value at the end of the 3 years. So to do that, we need the amount that he invests in the first place. So now I'm thinking, how much, or how can we work out how much Sadiq invests in the first place? Well, we know that he invests the same amount as Louise because they both invest X, which is the same variable. So if we can work out the amount that Louise invests, then we can work out the amount that Sadiq invests and move forward. We know that Louise invests her amount for 3 years with a compound interest rate of 2.5% per year. In other words, for Louise, what's the situation going to be? Well, the compound interest formula is going to be that the end amount, A, is equal to the initial amount times by 1 plus the interest rate as a decimal raised to the power of the number of time periods. In Louise's case, what do we have? Well, if we come down here, let me just turn my pen around. So Louise, she's going to invest an initial amount X. We're going to have interest rate of 2.5%. So I'm going to convert this into a decimal. 2.5% as a decimal, we divide it by 100 is 0.025. So the initial amount X comes by 1 plus 0.025 raised to the number of time periods, which is 3 because she invests for 3 years, we know is equal to the end amount of 344,605 pounds. Next step, we need the value of X. At the moment, X is being multiplied by 1 plus 0.025 to the power of 3. So we can divide both sides by this to get the value of X. We're going to have X is equal to 344,605 divided by 1 plus 0.025 raised to the power of 3. Next step, let's type that into the calculator and find the value of X. We're going to do 344,605 divided by, open brackets, 1.025 raised to the power of 3. And that is going to give us 320,000. And at this point, we take a deep breath and we go, okay, I've probably got the first bit right. Why? Because I've got a nice number. So now we know the value of X is 320,000. So we know that Sadiq invests 320,000. So what can we say next? Well, we can say that for Sadiq, what's the situation? We start with this 320,000, the initial amount, and we're going to times this by our multipliers. So he gets 2% for 2 years and then 3.5% for 1 year. So 2% as a decimal, 0.02. 3.5% as a decimal, 0.035. He gets the 2% for 2 years. So we can do times by 1 plus 0.02. He gets it for 2 years, so to the power of 2. Then we're going to times this amount by, what about after this 3.5% for a year? We're going to times it by 1 plus 0.035. And that's for 1 year, so we could do to the power of 1, but any number to the power of 1 is itself, so we don't actually have to write that in. Now, we're going to type this into the calculator to get Sadiq's final amount. We're going to do 320, 1, 2, 3 zeros times 1.02 raised to the power of 2 times 1.035, and we're going to get 344,560.48. That is going to be our answer. Guys, without a shadow of a doubt, a tough question there. Let me know in the chat. A, did you get it? But B, more importantly, if you didn't get it, does it make sense now? Issa Butt said, you're the most helpful math teacher in the history of YouTube. Hey, thank you very much. I'll take that. That's a compliment and a half. Vampire Sight said, no, I'm late to the stream again. Hey, no worries at all. You're here for the most important part, or the most difficult part at least. Hypershadic said it makes sense now. Nice Fatsanis said, got it right. Yes. Very nice. Okay, guys, we are now officially going to take a 3-minute break, 4-minute break, because I know it's about to turn to 10 past. We're going to start the maths again at 13 minutes past. We're going to start the maths again at 13 minutes past. So if you want to, run downstairs, grab a drink of water. It's very important to stay hydrated. Actually, I'm not going to write it on the screen. Very important to stay hydrated. If you want a little snack, grab a little snack. Ideally, something healthy, but if you want to go grab a Snickers bar, they're very nice, so go grab one. Um, in the meantime, I'm going to say, guys, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a Google review. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's 270 of us at the moment. The link is pinned in the chat. If you're watching on TikTok, it's on my profile, so you could leave the stream, go write a quick little review, and come back in 3 minutes. I would really, really appreciate it. I'm trying to get these reviews up. It's going to be the only way that I'm able to keep doing the free live streams. And it's kind of a little thank you, so yeah, you literally just, the link is pinned in the chat. You literally just click it, it will take you to the review page, and if you could do it as a star rating, that would be amazing. But also, if you could write a little message, I'd really appreciate it. The messages are super nice, and yeah, they help me out a lot. So if you could, I would really appreciate it. I'm going to rest my voice for a couple of minutes as well, so I'm going to speak a little bit less, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but my voice is getting croaky from all of these live streams. And we're going to get going again in a couple of minutes. I can see if people leave reviews. I can see that Ripley just left one. Thank you. Max left one. Jack left one. Guys, thank you very much. I can see that somebody left a 4-star review. Somebody left a 4-star review but said amazing. So to me, amazing is maybe 5 stars, but fair enough. The other day, somebody, or there's actually been quite a few trolls. That's the annoying thing about the internet, is people take it as an opportunity to be annoying and just rate random stuff 1 stars. So please don't do that. I'm probably gonna cause people to do that. But yeah, one of the reasons I need to get more is to counteract those 1-star ones. HZ said, drink warm water with lemon. It helps a lot. Yeah, I need to do that after the stream. Honey and lemon with some ginger as well. Okay. Quite a few people asking questions about... did I write the answering wrong? I think, let me just type it in again. Guys, let's just pretend that didn't happen. I think I wrote, yeah, I did. That's supposed to be an 8. Sorry if that confused anybody. That is supposed to be an 8. I just wrote it in wrong. Thank you, Quap. Thank you, Aquafina. Yeah, good job, guys. Good job. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you, Hazakaster. Let's have a look if many people have left a review. Guys, I'd really, really appreciate it. Oh, okay, thank you. A few people have. Guys, what's this image of a turtle that people are commenting? Is that a thing? Like 2 people now in 2 days have commented or like reviewed with an image of a turtle. Like it's pretty. Yeah, so many times. Is that like some kind of meme or something? What's this? That's my tortoise. Says Cat Twix. It's pretty funny, to be honest, whatever it is. Oh, Italian brain rot. If anybody hasn't already, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Vampire Sight. Appreciate it. Thank you, Eliza. Thanks, Atitza. Thanks, James, Kate, S Pop. Guys, thank you so much. Now the chat's being spammed full of turtles. I swear, by the end of GCSEs, I should know a lot of this, like, slang and whatever you'd call it, whatever you'd refer to it as. The Italian brain what? Italian? I have no idea what that is, but okay. Maybe I should put it on the. Actually, a lot of people are asking about the chat. So let me just put my tunes back on. Yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna change this text real quick. Um, there we go. Well, what text should I write, guys? Replying to chat on here, or like what's the best text? Because I just want people on TikTok to know that it's not a pre-recording; it is live, but I'm just focusing on the YouTube chat. I can say main chat maybe. Uh, main chat is on. Maybe I'll do it like that for now. Now I have to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry guys, I'm just gonna be 2 seconds. I'm gonna get cracking again. There we go. Lock that, lock that. Guys, let's get cracking again. Let's see what we can do. Main chat. Typo. Go. Okay, 1 second. Thank you, whoever said there was a typo. There we go. That's better. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, S Pop. Thank you, Speedruns and Tricks. Yeah, thank you, guys. Only reading YouTube chat, replying to YouTube chat. Yeah. I'll say main chat. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, guys. A lot of people asking if I'm German after we just did that review thing. For some reason, the location is like mainland Europe, which is pretty much centered by Germany. I'm not German. I have nothing to do with Germany. I can speak German because I did it in school. But yeah, I'm not German. I'm fully English. Okay. Moving on to question number 11. I said I can speak German. I can't speak German. I used to be able to speak German. Now I'm rusty. Okay, question number 11. Let's see what we can do. Here is a sketch of this line. The point R is such that PQR is a straight line, and the ratio of P to Q to Q to R is 2 to 3. Find the coordinates of R. Questions like this are really annoying, but I can tell you that they have been coming up a reasonable amount over recent years, so it's worth doing. Val said, nein, aber ich habe 5 Jahre in Deutschland gelebt. Also, natürlich kannst du ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Früher könnte ich ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, aber jetzt bin ich etwas, man könnte nicht so gut sagen. That was absolutely butchering, trying to reply to that in German. It probably sounded quite impressive for people who can't speak German, but for anybody who actually speaks German, you'll know I probably butchered that. Okay, question number 11. Jan has got an answer. Okay, some good reactions to the German in the chat, actually. Maybe if somebody put something else in German, I would try replying in German again. Hypershadic said, this question. Yep. Okay, everybody's coming back with, das ist sehr gut. Und das war sehr gut. Logesh said, ich bin einer Berliner. Means I come from Berlin. Okay, Lincoln News ready? So, let's have a look, team. It says, here is a sketch of line L. The points P -60 and Q03 are points on L. The point R is such that PQR is a straight line and the ratio of P to Q to R is 2 to 3. We're asked to find the coordinates of R. Guys, what are we going to do? We're going to do a kind of proportional ratio division with our line. How can we do that? Well, we need to know how to get from point Q to point R. If we know that, then we can add it on to point Q, and that's going to get us point R. So how do we get from Q to R? Well, if we can work out P to Q, then we can divide it by 2 and times it by 3 to get Q to R. So how do we get from P to Q? Well, in the X direction, we go from -6 to 0. So we go 6 right. And in the Y direction, we go from 0 to 3. So we go 3 up. Now we're going to need to work out how to get from Q to R. What we're going to do is we're going to divide it by 2 to work out one part in the ratio, and then times it by 3. So for the X coordinate, or for the X movement, we're going to do 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and then 3 times 3, which is 9, which means that this movement here is going to be 9. Now, what about for Y? I'll go to a different color. Oh, no, I won't. Yeah, I will. So for Y, at the moment it's 3 units up, so we divide it by 2. We're going to get 1.5. We need 3 parts, so we're going to times by 3. So we do 1.5 times 3 on the calculator is going to be 4.5. So this is 4.5. Now what we can do to get the new X coordinate is we can do our current X coordinate, 0, 3. Or sorry, to get the new coordinates, we can do the current coordinates plus the distances. So to get the X coordinate, we're going to do 0 plus 9, which is going to be 9. And to get the Y coordinates, we can do 3, which we currently are up, plus 4.5. We're going to get 7.5. So we can kind of think of that as like plus 9 in the X direction and plus 4.5 in the Y direction. Okay. Talk to me in the chat, team. How do we find that one? Did it make sense after I went through it? Speedruns and Tricks said makes sense now. Nice, good work. Sem said that's so smart and easy. After going through it, maybe. Nice. Intelligent Melon said makes so much sense now. Fatsana said this makes it so much easier. Hey, guys, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Nicely done, guys. Well done. Well done. Okay, moving on to question number 12. I'll just go through this one for a little bit of speed. It says expand and simplify x minus 2 times by 3x plus 2 times by 2x plus 3. What are we going to do? Let's expand these two first of all, and then times everything that we get by 2x plus 3. So I'm going to write out my brackets, x minus 2 times by 3x plus 2. I like to make these multicolored. So we're going to do everything in the first bracket times everything in the second bracket. X times by 3x is 3x squared. X times by 2 is plus 2x. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Simplifying, we're going to get 3x squared plus 2 minus 6 is minus 4, so minus 4x minus 4. Next step, we're going to need to take this and multiply it by 2x plus 3. So we're going to have 3x squared minus 4x minus 4 times by 2x plus 3. Let me just move this a little bit to the left. What are we going to have? So 3x squared times 2x. 3 times 2 is 6, so 6x cubed. 3x squared times 3 plus 9x squared. Minus 4x times 2x is going to be minus 8x squared. And minus 4x times positive 3 is going to be minus 12x. Then we're going to have minus 4 times by 2x. That's going to be minus 8x. And then minus 4 times 3, that's going to be minus 12. Next up, we can simplify, collect our like terms. 6x cubed is the only term in x cubed. 9x squared minus 8x squared is going to be plus 1x squared. Minus 12x minus 8x is going to be minus 20x. And then the 12 is the only constant. And that's going to give us our answer of 6x cubed plus x squared minus 20x minus 12. Somebody said I skipped a question. Oh, guys, my bad, my bad. Let me go back to that. Yep, sorry, my bad, my bad. Didn't realize. I'm going to go back to that. Okay, anyway, for question 12, though, that's the answer. So 5 seconds to screenshot, and then we're going to go back to that previous one. I don't know how I managed to skip that, but anyway. Okay. Alien Lord said, oh, it's actually easy now. Yeah, was there anybody who didn't get that, but it made sense for now? If you did, really nicely done. Really nicely done. Vampire Sight said this was good. Nice. Issa Butt said, don't worry if you skipped that last question. You're still the best teacher. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, let's have a look. This question, which I accidentally skipped for 3 marks, says find an equation of the line that is perpendicular to L and passes through Q. Perpendicular to L and passes through Q. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this one, and then I'll go through it. 2 minutes to do it, and then I'll go through it. I'm just going to catch up on the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah, thank you, NJ. Appreciate it very much. I think there's been some requests for some more German. You know, that is actually my favorite emoji, Alien Lord. I don't know why. Actually, I have 2 favorite emojis. The alien emoji and the electricity emoji. The electricity emojis are my GCSE maths emoji. Adios, Daisy. Good to have you on today. Thank you, Lizzie, for letting me know that. I skipped that last question as well. Vale said nicht schlecht. HZ said, yeah, you always reply to my comment with the electricity emoji. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Dein Deutsch ist sehr gut. Danke, danke. Okay, let's not get the alien emoji in the chat though. I don't know why. It doesn't the lightning bolt emoji has the best vibes. So the lightning bolt emoji in general, guys. Actually, let's do a lightning spam at the end of today's session. Okay. Yeah, NJ said to any new viewers, lightning is the official channel emoji. Exactly. Okay, let's go through it then. So the equation of the line that is perpendicular to L and passes through Q. So how do we do this? Well, we know that the general equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus c, where m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. We're going to find the gradient first, then we're going to find the y-intercept. So how can we find the gradient? Well, we know that it is perpendicular to L, which means that the gradient will be the negative reciprocal. So the first step is going to be to find the gradient of L and then to do the negative reciprocal. So the gradient of L, what's it going to be? So gradient of L. How do we work out the gradient? Well, it's equal to the change in y divided by the change in x between 2 points. I'm just going to write it like this to save space. So change in y divided by change in x. So we can choose 2 points. Let's choose this point and this point. So between P and Q, what's the change in y? We go from 0 to 3, so the change is 3. And what's the change in x? We go from -6 to 0, so the change in x is 6. We can simplify this, it's a half. So the gradient of L is a half. So what's the gradient of Q? Well, the gradient of Q is going to be the negative reciprocal. Gradient of Q is going to be the negative reciprocal, so it's going to be -2. To find the reciprocal, we do 1 over. 1 over 2 is just 2, so it's going to be -2. Now that we have the gradient, we can just finish off by putting in the y-intercept. We know that the line passes through Q, which is on the y-axis, so that means that the y-intercept of our line has to be 3. So it passes through the y-axis at 3. So we also know that the y-intercept of Q equals 3. So the equation of our line is going to be y equals -2x plus 3. Hopefully that one made sense, team. Let's have a quick look at the chat. NJ said Nando's is my favorite restaurant if we're talking about the food. Guys, that is not an AI response. Nando's, to be honest, even as you get older, like I'm 24, I've been doing this for a long time. Nando's still slaps. If I meet up with my mates on a random evening, probably we're still hitting up a Nando's. Like it's tough to beat in London. If you want, also if you want it to be healthy, because Nando's is low key healthy, that's the other variable which I'll throw in there. Yeah, okay. Lincoln, you said makes sense now. Wonderful. Lizzie said Nando's is actually the best. I will say, don't get me wrong, it's not the tastiest food in the world. It's definitely not the tastiest food in the world. However, for the price, and also if you want something healthy, then Nando's is a place, Nando's is a place. James R said Wagamama's is better. Completely agree. I completely agree. Wagamama's slaps, to be honest. Wagamama's slaps. I would go so far as saying that Wagamama's is the best chain restaurant in the UK. If anybody disagrees, let me know in the chat, but I would say Wagamama's is the best chain restaurant in the UK. Chain restaurant. Question 13, only 2 marks, so I'm going to give you about 1 minute for this. Then I'll go through it. Vampire Site said disagree. Fair play. What would you say though, Vampire Site? You can't disagree and not give your response. Okay, Daisy. Tortilla's not a bad shout as well. Tortilla's a good chain. Tortilla's a very good chain. But I'm still saying Waggers over Tortilla. I'm seeing some people saying KFC, some people saying Cosmo. Hard disagree with both of those. Popeye, hard disagree. Burger King, hard disagree. Okay. Pizza Express on top. Nope. Greg's. Nope. Definitely nope to Greg's. Wingstop. Not such a Wingstop fan. Domino's. Nope. Okay, guys, let's do this one because I've given a fair bit of time. Question 13. Let's have a look. It says in a school there are 16 teachers and 220 students. Of the students, 120 are girls and 100 are boys. One teacher, one girl, and one boy are going to be chosen at random to represent the school. Work out the number of different ways there are to choose one teacher, one girl, and one boy. Guys, what's the topic? It is the combinations topic. Now, as soon as you see a question like this, which asks combination, as soon as you see a question like this, which asks for the number of different ways something can be chosen. A, we're thinking combinations, but B, we're just thinking we times those numbers together. So in this case, there are 16 teachers. So we have 16 times 120 girls, so times 120, and 100 boys, so times 100. Bosh. We type that into the calculator. 16 times 120 times 100, we get 192,000, which seems like it's way too big of a number, but it's actually correct. It seems like it's way too big of a number, but it's actually correct. So these combinations ones will throw you off, making you think that you're not right, but actually 192,000 is what it is. Okay, moving on, question number 14. 4 marks up for grabs. Good circle theorems question. Let's see what we can do. Question number 14. I can see as soon as I'm looking at the chat again, the food and drink opinions are coming back out. Popeyes, Domino's. It's got to be Waggers, guys. It's got to be Waggers. Another 2 minutes or so, and we're going to go through it. Guys, I'm going to run another quick poll while we're doing this question, which is start a poll. Is it better if I give time, or should I just go through the questions? So my personal opinion is that it's way better if I give you time to do the questions yourselves and I don't just go through the answers. The reason is because you're going to get so much more out of it, guys, if you actually do them. But I do want to know what your guys' opinions are. So there's 220 of us on here at the moment. 100 votes so far. Guys, it's really important if as many of you as possible can vote. It's quite tight at the moment. It's quite tight at the moment. Okay, 60% saying give us time to do them, 40% saying just go through them. Okay, question 14. Let's go through this one and see what we can do. So the question says that A, B, C, and D are 4 points on a circle. We're told that SBT is a tangent to the circle, angle ABD is 20, and we're told that the ratio of the size of angle BAD to the size of BCD, so BAD, this one here, to BCD, this one here, is 3 to 1. Now, what does that mean if we were to convert this into algebra? It would mean that if this angle here, BCD, is x, then this angle here would be 3x. And the reason I'm writing this in, the reason I'm thinking of this straight away is because I'm thinking, well, I can't work out either of those angles just yet, but I do know something about the relationship between them. BAD is 3 times BCD. So if BCD is x, BAD is 3x. Now, it says find the size of angle SBA. SBA is this angle here. SBA, beautiful. Let me go green, actually. Okay. How are we going to do this? Well, the first thing that I see when I look at this is I see that A, it's a circle theorems question, so I need to decide what circle theorems I'm going to use. I see the line between AB, BC, CD, and DA, and I can see that I have a cyclic quadrilateral. What do I know about cyclic quadrilaterals? I know that opposite angles in a cyclic or cyclic quadrilateral add to 180. How is this going to be helpful? Well, I know both of them in terms of x. So I can say that this angle, 3x, plus this angle x is equal to 180. So 3x plus x is equal to 180. I can simplify this and solve for x. So 4x is equal to 180. X is equal to 180 over 4, which is going to be 45, I think. Let me just double check it. Yep, 45. So now I know that this angle here is 45. How can that help us? Well, again, I'm thinking of my circle theorems. I can see that I have a tangent and I have two lines coming off it and a line here. I'm thinking of my alternate segment theorem. This angle here is going to be equal to this angle here by the alternate segment theorem. So I can say that this angle, let's go for orange. So let's go for this angle. So angle SBD equals 45 by alternate segment. And then you could put theorem on the end if you want. Now I know that this is 45. The angle that we want is this green one here. So it's going to be the difference between the total of 45 and the 20 here. So to work out this angle down here now, let's go for green. We can do the 45 minus the 20, which is going to give us 25 as our answer. So 25 degrees, nicely done if you did that one. 5 seconds to screenshot and let me know in the chat. Did that one make sense now? 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 15. I'm going to give 1 minute to think about this, and then I'm going to go through it. I want to get the pace up a bit, just so we can make sure that we can go through the whole paper. Actually, we're not going to get through the whole paper. I'm just going to prioritize the most important questions. Okay. Ben said it makes sense after you went through it. Nicely done, Ben. Superb. Pranav says cosine rule. Mohammed says cosine rule. Yeah, guys, if you said cosine rule, you're absolutely right. Well done. So the question says, here is a triangle ABC. We're asked to find the length of BC this side here. I see angles and side lengths. I need to work out a side length. It's not a right angle triangle. So straight away, I'm thinking, am I going to be using the sine rule or the cosine rule? The question involves all three of our sides. We have 2 of them. And we want the last one. Therefore, it's going to be the cosine rule. The cosine rule in the formula book tells us that for a triangle, a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. A is always the angle in the question, so we label this one A. I'm just going to write it even though they've already written it. Side lowercase a is always opposite the angle in the question. Opposite big B, we're going to have small b. Opposite big C, we're going to have small c. Next step, we're going to substitute all of our values into our equation. So we're going to have a squared, which is what we're trying to work out, is equal to b squared, so 8 squared, plus c squared, so 11 squared, minus 2 times 8 times 11 times cos of 72. A is going to be equal to the square root of all of this. So we could type this into the calculator if we wanted to. Actually, yeah, I'll do it in 2 steps. So I'll rub this out. I'm going to type into the calculator 8 squared plus 11 squared, etc. So 8 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 8 times 11 times cos of 72. That's 130.613. And then, because there we go, I'll do it like that. So what I did in that step, guys, was I typed all of this into the calculator. It turned out as 130.613. And then I moved the squared over to the right-hand side. So I square rooted both sides, which I'm now going to do. And I'm going to get 11.42, which to 3 significant figures is going to be 11.4. If you got that one really nicely done, a classic exam question. If you had no idea what was going on there, the topic is the sine rule and cosine rule. Next up, part B, it says find the area of triangle ABC. Give your answer to 3 significant figures. What rule are we going to be using this time, guys? Well, to work out the area of a triangle, we can either use half times base times height, or we can use half AB sine C. In this case, we don't have the vertical height, but we do have an angle and the 2 side lengths either side of it. So we're going to be using the formula, again, which is in the formula book, area equals a half AB sine C. I'm going to relabel the triangle just to make this super clear. When we use half AB sine C, our angle in the question is always C, and our 2 side lengths either side of it are A and B. So we're going to plug in that C is equal to 72, A is equal to 8, and B is equal to 11. So we have a half times 8 times 11 times sine 72. I'm going to type it into the calculator. What am I going to get? 0.5 times 8 times 11 times sine 72. Bosh. We get 41.84, etc., which to 3 significant figures is going to be 41.8. Guys, nicely done. If you got that, good work, Softly. Good job, Precious. Good job, Mohammed. Good job, Logesh. Good job, Jan. Good job to everybody who did get that one. Okay. A couple of people asking what topic this is. This one is area equals half AB sine C. Okay. Question 16, we're going to skip in the interests of time and because it's less important than question 17. So we'll go through question 17 now. We're going to skip 16. It's a very textbook question, the last one. So if you want to check it out, you can revise iteration equations. Otherwise, we're going to be focusing on 17. Maria says, how many questions is this paper? Let me have a quick look for you. I think it's 21. Yeah, 21. Question 18 isn't going to take long. We'll see. We'll see with the other questions which ones we do and which ones we don't. Quite a lot of people are asking whether the live gets posted. Yeah, every single live is recorded and it's uploaded straight to the YouTube channel. You just have to go on the live tab on my profile and you can see them all there. Okay, another 2 minutes for this, and then I'm going to go through it. Okay. A lot of people saying it came up in paper 1. Okay, let me just go through it then. To be honest, I've looked at so many exam papers and all this different stuff that I forgot specifically off the top of my head what the exact questions were. So let me just go through it then. Let me just go through it. Okay. And actually, I don't think it was this specific type. So just give me 1 second. Let's have a look. Question 17. It says some people took part in the first round of a competition. The histogram gives information about the scores of these people in the first round. 20% of the people got a score high enough for them to qualify for the second round. Work out an estimate for the score needed to qualify for the second round. You must show all of your working. How are we going to do this? We need to work out the total number of people who did it, or who were in the competition, and then find out who's going to be the top 20% of the people, and then find out where that is on the histogram. So how are we going to do it? Firstly, we're going to work out the total number of people. How do we work out the total number of people from a histogram? Well, in a histogram, the area of the bar is equal to the frequency. So for this bar, it's going to be 5 the base times by 0.8 the height. So 5 times 0.8 is equal to 4. For this bar, we're going to have 10 times by 1.1, which is 11. Not 1.1, sorry. I misread that, 1.6. 10 times by 1.6, which is 16 is what I meant to say. I was thinking that was 1 for some reason, but yeah. So halfway between 1 and 2 is 1.5, and then each of those boxes are worth 0.1, so it's 0.1 above the 1.5. Okay, next up, what's it going to be? We have a base of 10 again, so 10 times by. Height is going to be 2.2 this time, which is 10 times 2.2 is 22. Finally, the area of the last one, we're going to do a base of 15 this time, times by a height of 1.2. 15 times 1.2, I'll just do on the calculator. It's 18. So, who is our top 20% of people? Well, how many people do we have in total? Our total number of people is going to be equal to 4 plus 16 plus 22 plus 18. 4 plus 16 is 20, plus 40 is going to be 60. So 60 people in total. Who is the top 20%? Well, the top 20% of that, 20% of 60, so top 20%. 20% of 60 is 0.2 times 60, which is 12. So the top 20% is the top 12 people. Oh, didn't mean to do that. The top 12 people. Now, where are the top 12 people? Where are the top 12 people? A couple of different ways of thinking about this, but we know that our overall final bar is 18 people. So 12 of them is going to be 2/3 of that bar. And the reason is because 12 is 2/3 of 18. The other way to think about it would be that this has a height of 1.2. So what base do we need to have an area of 12? Well, it needs to be 10 wide. So 1.2 tall, 10 wide gives a frequency of 12. Okay. Also, for anybody who did AQA, because that didn't come up in AQA. Okay, 5 seconds to screenshot. Guys, let me know in the chat how we found that one. James says, what topic? This is the histograms topic. Histograms topic. I'll just write that at the top. There you go, histograms. Okay. Question number 18. This is a tough one. I'm going to give you 1 minute, and then I'm going to go through it. Let's see what we can do. Question 18. Even some people aiming for a grade 9 won't know how to do this. Okay, what's popping off in the chat, guys? Anyone who has an answer for this, let me know. Using the graph, find estimates for all 4 solutions of sine x is equal to 0.6. Neve says, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to try this. Fair play. Fair play. I know a lot of people are going to be thinking that. Okay, how are we going to do it? So here is the graph of y equals sine x for 0 is less than x, or less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 360. Using the graph, find estimates of all 4 solutions to sine x is equal to 0.6. So the first thing I'm going to say is we know how to find one of them. How do we solve sine x is equal to 0.6? We do sine to the minus 1 of both sides. So sine to the minus 1, I'll write it up here. So x equals sine to the minus 1 of 0.6. We type that into the calculator. Sine to the minus 1 of 0.6. We get 36.86. Now, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that one of the values is going to be 38.86. But to be fair, it does say use the graph and it does say find estimates. So how can we do it? Well, we can see that our x-axis is x and our y-axis is sine x. We need to solve sine x is 0.6. So we're going to go to our y-axis and I'm going to draw a horizontal line across from 0.6, like so. Now, solving this is basically saying, what are the values of x? Let me just make sure that's almost perfect. Yeah, we'll go down from here. What are the values of x? And I'm just gonna, just to make this even better, I'm just gonna draw it here. For this value of sine x, well, we can see that it's going to be given by this box here, which is probably going to be 36 if we work it out. Let's try and work it out. So how many boxes in total between 0 and 90? We can see that it's 15 boxes. So each box is going to be 90 divided by 15, which is 6. So what's the value of this? We can see it's 6 boxes. So it's going to be 6 times 6, which is 36, exactly as we said. Now, we could do this other one by either counting the boxes, or we could use the symmetry of the curve. This is 36 above 0. So this is going to be 36 below 180. So this is going to be 180 minus 36, which is 144. Now, it does say all 4 solutions and between 0 and 720. How do we find the other 2? Well, the general shape of the sine curve is such that the curve repeats itself every 360 degrees. So we can see that the curve starts down here at 0, goes up here to 360, and as soon as we get here, it's going to repeat itself again. What does that mean? It means that the values are going to repeat themselves every 360 degrees. In other words, to find the other 2 solutions up here and over here somewhere, we're going to add 360 to our other 2 values. So our first 2 values were 36 and 144. For our next 2 values, we're going to do 36 plus 360, which is 396, and 144 plus 360, which is 504. So our final answers to this one then are going to be 36, 144, 396, and 504. Guys, very tough question there. Very tough question. If you did get that, well done. Let me say, though, not many people at all are getting that. Let me know in the chat. Did that make sense for anybody? NJ, who does A-level maths, will probably recognize this topic. Does come up a lot in A-level. Hello, Chloe. Lincoln, you said I get it now. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, guys, fantastic. Ah, that makes me so happy, eh? That makes me so happy. Even if you don't understand that now and you're aiming for a grade 7 or 8 or whatever, please don't panic because it's a really difficult question. And by the way, there's 250 people watching. 30 people have said in the chat that they understand it now. The silent 210 probably don't get it now. So don't be biased by thinking everybody understands it. Honestly, very few people do. Okay, next up, part B. But what I will say is well done, yes, sir. Well done, Aaron. Well done, Precious. Well done, Intelligent Melon. Well done, Joachim. Well done, Gapel. Well done, Abdullah. Great work, guys. Great work. Okay, part B. The graph of y equals sine x is reflected in the x-axis. Write down the equation of the reflected graph. What happens when we reflect a curve in the x-axis? Everything which was above the axes, in the sine curve case is this, is going to go below the axes. Going to look something like this. So what happens? It becomes y equals minus sine of x. So everything that was positive becomes negative. Everything that was negative becomes positive. That one is just one you can try and memorize, which is when we reflect in the x-axis, we do negative of the entire equation. If we were reflecting in the y-axis, we would just do a negative x there. Okay, here's a graph of y equals f of x. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals x minus 2. I'm just going to do this one. How do we do it? Well, this is our graphical transformations topic. We have subtracted 2 directly from the x. So this means that we go 2 units to the right. So because we do it directly to the x, we do it in the x direction. And because it's minus 2, we reverse that and we plus 2. So we're going to go 1, 2. I obviously did it by picking it up and dragging it. You guys could do it by just redrawing the points. Hey, Faith, that's so good to hear. That's so good to hear. That makes me happy. Okay. Next up, let's go for question number 19. Okay, we have choices, guys. We're going to do 2 of the 3 following questions. Which 2 do you want to do? Which 2 do you want to do? We can do any of them. I don't know how many of you have the paper printed out, but which 2 do we want to do? I'm going to set up a poll. I need to close the last poll. End poll. Engage with audience. Start poll. Which questions? Add option. 19 and 20. 19 and 21. 20 and 21. Bosh. Guys, vote on the poll for me. Let me know. Which questions would you like me to do? 19 and 20, 19 and 21, or 20 and 21. 58 people have voted, 200 of us on here. Guys, let me know. Which ones would you like me to do? Okay, the majority of people are saying 20 and 21, so we're going to be going through 20 and 21. In fact, this is not going to take long to explain. Okay, I'm just going to go through them all, but I'm going to do this one and the next one pretty quickly. Okay, that's a nice surprise. That's a nice surprise. I'm just going to go through them all. I didn't intend to do that, but hey ho. Okay, so question number 19. A, B, and C are 3 spheres. The volume of sphere A is 125. The volume of sphere B is 27. The ratio of the radius of B to the radius of C is 1 to 2. Work out the ratio of the surface area of A to the surface area of C. This is our classic combining ratios topic, mixed with our length, area, and volume ratios. So what do we know? we know that the ratio of the volume of A to the volume of B is 125 to 27. We want to go from the volumes to the lengths, because if we have the lengths, we can combine it with this radius ratio. So how do we do it? How do we go from the volume ratio to the length ratio? We have to cube root both of our numbers. So cube root both of our numbers. So the radius of A to the radius of B, cube root of 125 is 5, cube root of 27 is 3. So now we can write a combined ratio for the radius of A to the radius of B to the radius of C. We know A to B is 5 to 3, so 5 to 3. And we know B to C is 1 to 2. So I can come up here and I can say the radius of B to the radius of C is 1 to 2. To write these as a common ratio, we're going to want the same number for our B. So we're going to scale this up by timesing by 3. Now we know that when the radius of B is 3, the radius of C is 6. So we have 5 to 3 to 6. But we need the ratio of the surface area of A to the surface area of C. So let's just combine these to have ratio of radius of A to radius of C. So radius of A to radius of C is 5 to 6. Now, how do we go from the length ratio to the area ratio? We have to square it, square both of them. So we're going to square both of these. Area of A to the area of C is going to be 25 to 36. Guys, tough question there. Really tough question there. If you did get it, let me know. S said square it. Twisted Paradox, 25 to 36. Good work. Good work, Mohammed Hamza. Nicely done. Okay. Let me know, guys. Good run, speed runs, and good job, speed runs and tricks. Okay, good job. Cubba says, understand it now. Awesome. Guys, let's move on. Question number 20. It says, in a village, if it rains, the probability that it will rain on the next day is 0 to 8. Actually, just having a quick look. Yes, sir, said, could you do it again, King? Unfortunately, mate, I'm not going to be able to do it again, but you can watch the recording. It'll be uploaded straight to the channel under the live tab. So, also, good job, Goated. Good job, Goated Goat. Good job, Fatsana. Okay, Q20. Let's have a look at this one, guys. It says, if it rains on one day, the probability that it will rain on the next day is 0.8, conditional probability. If it doesn't rain on one day, the probability that it will rain on the next day is 0.6. Okay. The weather forecaster says there's a 70% chance that it's going to rain on Monday. We're asked to find an estimate for the probability that it will rain in the village on Wednesday. Okay. You must show all of your working. Definitely a tree diagram. Definitely a tree diagram. So we're going to have Monday, we're going to have Tuesday, and we're going to have Wednesday. I'm going to try my best to lay this out nicely, but this could go horribly wrong. So on Monday, what do we have? 70% chance of rain. So let's say this is rain. This is 0.7. This is not rain. The probability is going to be 1 minus 0.7. It's going to be 0.3. Now, what about Tuesday? Well, on Tuesday, it can either rain or it can not rain. Now, if it rained on Monday, what's the probability it rains on Tuesday? Well, if it rains on one day, the probability it rains the next day is 0.8. So the probability it doesn't rain is going to be 0.2. But what about down here if it doesn't rain on Monday? Again, on Tuesday, it can either rain or not rain. But the probability of it raining, if it doesn't rain on Monday, is 0.6. So not rain is going to be 0.4. Now we can do exactly the same thing for Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we have rain, not rain. We have rain, not rain. We have rain, not rain. And we have rain, not rain. So we have rain, not rain, rain, not rain, rain, not rain, and rain, not rain. If it rains on Tuesday, the probability of it raining on Wednesday is 0.8. So not raining is 0.2. If it doesn't rain on Tuesday, so not rain on Tuesday, the probability it rains the next day is 0.6. And not rain, therefore, is 0.4. If it rains on Tuesday down here, probability of raining the next day is 0.8. And not rain is 0.2. If it doesn't rain on Tuesday down here, probability of raining is 0.6. Not raining is 0.4. So we have conditional probability. The probability of it raining the next day depends on if it rained the day before. Now, what's the question say? It says, work out an estimate for the probability it rains on Wednesday. Well, what are the different ways it can rain on Wednesday? Either we end up here, or we end up here, or we end up here, or we end up here. So what's the probability of this first one? Well, this first one, it has to rain, and then rain, and then rain again, which is one thing and the other thing. So 0.7 times 0.8 times 0.8. This next option is rain, not rain, rain. So that's 0.7 times 0.2 times 0.6. Next option, we have to not rain, rain, rain. So that's 0.3 for the not rain, 0.6 for the rain, and then 0.8 for this rain. And then for the one down here, we have not rain, rain. So 0.3, which is this, times 0.4, which is this, times 0.6, which is this. Now, these are all different ways that we can get the outcome that we need. So we're going to add these probabilities together. So let's calculate them. 0.7 times 0.8 times 0.8 on the calculator is 56 over 125. 0.7 times 0.2 times 0.6 is 21 over 250. 0.3 times 0.6 times 0.8 is 18 over 125. 0.3 times 0.4 times 0.6 is 9 over 125. And now these are all different ways that we can get what we need. So we're going to add them all together. So 56 over 125 plus 21 over 250 plus 18 over 125 plus 9 over 125. I'm going to type that into the calculator quickly. So actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to do it. 56, 27, 27, 86, 83, 83, 86, 87. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it in my head, guys. Forget that. So 56 over 125 plus 21 over 250 plus 18 over 125 plus 9 over 125. We get 187 over 250. 187 over 250 Guys, if you did that, nicely done. Ishak said brain power equals low. Yes, sir. At this part of the session, absolutely, man. I'm getting tired. Okay. Talk to me, team. Did anybody get that one? I know it was tough. A lot of people out here asking for the hair routine. We'll save that for the Q&A at the end if anybody has any questions. Okay, Abdullah says, "Yep, I got it now because of you. Thank you so much. Good to hear." Luffy said, "You made it look easy." Good work. Intelligent Melon said, "Matt, you missed a donation." Oh, somebody donated? Cool robot. Thank you very much. Said, "Matt, tell me what shampoo you use." I'll save it for the end. The short answer is it's a brand called Aesop. It's a little bit expensive, to be honest, but it's good stuff. Zero said, "Ads are killing me." There should not be any ads on here. There should not be any ads on here. I have it demonetized. Wait, are you guys getting ads? Are you guys getting ads? Mohammed says no ads. Lincoln says yes. Okay, most people are getting no ads. Good, good, good. Okay, good, good, good. Guys, I have the ads turned off. I have the ads turned off. Somebody's saying that they sent a review on Google. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask, actually, I'll ask again now because I know a lot of people won't do this question. Guys, if you found today's session helpful, I know a lot of you have already done it, but if you haven't, if you found today's session helpful, guys, I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a quick review. It takes literally 30 seconds. If you could write a nice message, that would be absolutely amazing as well. That would be even better. But if you could leave a review, I'd really appreciate it. So the link is pinned in the chat. You just click the link, it takes you straight through. It's going to take like 20 seconds. Guys, if you could leave a review, I'd really appreciate it. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to keep doing these live streams, to be honest, is if I can keep getting the reviews up. So yeah, and anybody who does, I'll give you a shout out because I actually have it now on my right. I can see it. So yeah, the link is in the chat, or if you're watching on the TikTok, the link is on my profile page. So maybe you could do it after the stream finishes. This is going to be our final question of the day, guys. Let's see what we can do. Thank you, cool robot. Adam Duck says, when I click the link, it sends me to Google Maps. I think it just has to load up. So it looks a bit similar to Google Maps, but it isn't Google Maps. Okay. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready for me, team. And also in the meantime, I'm going to do the question in about 30 seconds. Can everybody please find the lightning bolt emoji? Actually, you don't need to because somebody will put it in the chat, then you can copy and paste it. At the end of today's session, we're going to do the biggest lightning bolt smash that we've ever done in the chat. Okay, question 21. Question 21. Let's see what we can do. It says the time period t seconds of a simple pendulum. We're just having a quick look at the chat. Any questions before I get going? Yeah, nice to see a lot of people putting that bolt in there. Okay, guys, let's get going. Let's get going. So, the time period t seconds of a simple pendulum of length L centimeters is given by the formula t equals 2 pi root L over g. Katie uses a simple pendulum in an experiment to find an estimate for the value of g. Here are her results. L is this, t is this, both to 3 sig fig. Work out the upper bound and the lower bound for the value of g. You must show all of your working. Firstly, we look at this and we see that g is not the subject. So we can't sub any values of L and T in after finding the bounds because we don't have a formula for g yet. So step number one, let's find a formula for g. So we're going to rearrange this equation. T equals 2 pi times root L over g. I'll just write it like that. Rearranging to find g. First off, let's divide both sides by 2 pi. So t over 2 pi equals the square root of L over G. I'll keep it lowercase. Next step, square both sides to move that G over. So T over 2 pi squared is equal to L over G. Next step, different ways we could think about this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this by squaring the top and the bottom. So we're going to have T squared over, we're going to square the 2 and square the pi, so 4 pi squared equals L over G. Next step, we're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to times both sides by 4 pi squared and times both sides by G. We're going to get G times T squared equals L times 4 pi squared. Next step, we're going to divide both sides by T squared. We're going to get G is equal to 4L pi squared over T squared. G is equal to 4L pi squared over T squared. Now we have our formula. I'm going to rewrite it up at the top. Actually, not up at the top. I'm going to rewrite it here. So G is equal to 4L pi squared over T squared. Next. Now we need to find the bounds for G using pi is 3.142. How do we find G? Well, to find G, or bounds for G, we're going to need to work out firstly bounds for L and T. We know they've both been rounded to 3 significant figures. So I'll write it like this. L is less than or equal to 52.0 to 3 sig fig. So it's going to be 52.05, adding a 5 on the end. And then subtracting 0.05, we're going to get 51.95 as our lower bound. 51.95 as our lower bound. And for our upper bound and lower bound for T, if you weren't sure how I found the bounds there, that's a good topic to review. Is going to be 1.455 and 1.445. So there we added a 5 on the end and then reduced the 5 by 1 and added a 5 on the end. Or reduced the 5 of the 4, 5 by 1. So those are our bounds. Now, how do we get the upper bound for G? So the upper bound for G is going to be the biggest possible value. This is going to be when the numerator is as big as possible and the denominator is as small as possible because we want to have a big number on the top and divide by a small number. So we're going to have 4 times 1.455 times pi, it's said to take us 3.142. So 3.142 squared over t squared, smallest possible value for t. Oh, wait, did I write that in wrong? Yeah, my bad, guys. Wrote it in wrong. No panics. So 4L pi squared. We need the biggest possible value for L is what I meant to say. So 52.05. Now on the bottom, we're going to have the smallest possible value of t squared. So 1.445 squared. So that is going to be our upper bound. Now for our lower bound, we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to take the smallest value of L on the top and the biggest value of T on the bottom. Yeah, I thought I wrote a typo then, but I didn't. So 4 times. Lower bound, smallest possible value for L, 51.95 times 3.142 squared over biggest possible value of T is 1.455. So 1.455 squared. Now I am slightly running out of room. There we go. I'm going to type these in, guys, and see what we get. doesn't say, to be fair, the degree of accuracy. Let's type it in. So 4 times 52.05 times 3.142 squared over 1.445 squared. We're going to get 984.3677. And for the lower bound, fraction 4 times 51.95 times 3.142 squared over 1.455 squared. There we go. 969.0181. Work out the upper and lower bound for the value. You must show you're working. Doesn't ask us what degree of accuracy to do it to. So I'm just going to round them to 1 decimal place. Upper bound is going to be 984.4. Lower bound is going to be 969.0. Okay. All right. Guys, that is our final question of the day. Let me know in the chat. How did we find that one? Did anybody get it? Cat Twix says, I get it now. Wonderful. Lincoln, you said that's hard. Not going to lie, but I got it now. Great work. Great work. How many of us are on the TikTok, actually, out of interest? Haha, Jesslyn, thank you so much. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, let's see. Nice to see the lightning bolts coming in the chat already. Good work, Cat Twix. Faith said the question is pretty straightforward to get or to be the last question on higher. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's not many people, to be honest, thought to do this rearranging at the start. That was a bit that tripped most people up. Skep says, can you zoom out? Absolutely. There we go. Whole question on 1 page. Okay. NJ says W donators. Yeah, guys, can we get a quick W in the chat for me for the people who have donated today? Let's get a quick W in the chat for the donators. Thank you very much, Jesslyn. Thank you very much. Oh, Jason as well. I didn't even see that. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, guys, I appreciate it. Imagine one day I can do this as supported by donators. That would be unbelievable. Valili says W, Mark W, Vampire Site W. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much, eh? Thank you so much. Job says W donating. Okay, guys, you know what we do at the end of the sessions? We throw our party. I would like you to spam the chat full of as many good vibe emojis as we can. Specifically, what's the emoji of the day, guys? The emoji of the day is a lightning bolt emoji. So I would like somebody to copy and paste. If you see Precious's comment there, you can see how many lightning bolts there are there. I don't know if you guys can copy and paste that, if there's a way to copy and paste it. But if you can, copy and paste that message. And guys, absolutely spam the chat full of as many emojis as we can. Nice vampire site. I'm just going to zoom that back in so it looks a bit nicer. Awesome. God's grace in there with a lightning bolt emoji. Zach Wayne as well. Guys, this is a moment of appreciation for the work that we're putting in. It's not easy out here putting in the revision over half term. Thank you, Jason. Again, I appreciate that very much, mate. Yeah, it's not easy out here putting in the revision over half term. I know a lot of you are tired. I know a lot of you just want to be finished. Guys, we're in this together. We're in this together, let me tell you. Until the end of GCSE maths now is 12 days. Not that I'm counting or anything, obviously. Let's put in that final push and get over the line together. Hypershadic says I have to overload the emojis. Jason says I have too much in my balance. NJ in there with a bunch of lightning bolt emojis. Guys, if you haven't already, please consider leaving a review if you found the session helpful today. I would really, really appreciate it. Now, another thing that we're going to do before we call it a day is we're going to officially give a couple of people the inauguration to become moderators. Don't know why I call it the inauguration, but a bunch of you have been helping out in the chat. I really appreciate it. NJ's done an amazing job of holding it down, of getting rid of people who are messing up the chat. A lot of you have been contributing really well, helping. Some of you have been really regular. Cat Twix, I'm gonna ask you or allow you to, ask you to be a moderator if you would like to be one, and also you, Lincoln, you. So guys, let me know. Actually, I know Lincoln, you already said it, so I'm gonna add you as a moderator. Standard moderator, beautiful. There we go, Lincoln, you. That should be set up now. And also Cat Twix. Let me just find you in the chat. Where are we? Where are we? There we go. Nice. You're officially a moderator. There we go. Guys, can we please get some clapping emojis in the chat now to show a little bit of appreciation to the moderators? Because low-key, I wouldn't be able to do these sessions if we didn't have the moderators. The chat would go crazy. There'd be people basically ruining it for everybody. I wouldn't be able to teach because I'd be removing people from the chat. So guys, if we can just get a little bit of appreciation in the chat, that would be amazing. Thank you, Sal. Thank you, George. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Neve. Thank you, Job, Alibas. Thank you, Fatsana, Faith, Ronyao. Awesome. Okay, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Precious. Awesome, guys. Superb job. Superb job. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. Guys, we are going to call it a day there. Ronyao Funny said, look at the Google reviews. Ah, they have vampire site in there with the cat image. Somebody rated 3 stars, which is a little bit annoying, but fair enough. If you're not finding it helpful, then that's fair enough. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not able to reply to all of the comments in the chat because there's just too many people. There's just too many people. I do try my best, though. I do try my best, though. Okay. Thank you, NJ. Oh, yeah, the playlist. A lot of people have been asking about the playlist, so let me share that now before we call it a day. So the My GCSE Maths Afrobeats playlist has now been made. So let me just get the link quickly to share. So a lot of you were asking for the music that I've been playing during these streams. Copy link to playlist, and I'm going to put it in the chat now. Okay, okay. Oh, I think I accidentally deleted a message, but anyway, there we go, guys. There is the link to the playlist. It's pretty much an Afrobeats playlist. You guys know I love my Afrobeats. If you've been seeing the stories, Vampire Site, thank you, donated as well. Hey, I appreciate that. But yeah, it's pretty much an Afrobeats playlist. Ronyao Funny said, look at my review. I can't actually see it on there. Nah, guys, there's been a bunch of awesome reviews today. I appreciate it very much. We're not going to let the trolls win. We're not going to let the trolls win. Okay. Thank you, Ronyo. Hey, good to have you on, Yorkshire Dad. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a day right there. Fantastic session today. Take a moment to appreciate the 2-hour shift you've just put in. It's not easy. I'm going to be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a foundation paper. Then I'll be back on Sunday with another higher paper. Then we have Monday evening, Tuesday evening, 2 big days ahead of our paper 2. Monday, I'm going to be live twice, doing the foundation paper and a higher paper. Tuesday, I'm going to be live all night for free on YouTube and TikTok. We're going to be doing 2 higher papers and a foundation paper. It's going to be our final preparations ahead of this exam. A lot of people are asking for the hair routine. Guys, I'm going to have to go now, but I will talk about it tomorrow if you want to know. I'll talk about it tomorrow if you want to know. Oh yeah, Faith said, can we have a non-Afrobeat playlist for tomorrow? I'm not going to have time to make one today, but maybe. Depends what genre we want. Depends what genre we want. Mohammed, maybe if you join for a few more days. Rap and rock, I see in the chat. Those are actually the only 2 genres that I don't really vibe with. Some, I won't mind you, some subgenres of rap and rock are really good. Like more like it's called like psychedelic rock. A band called Alalas and another band called Arc de Soleil, very, very good. Rap wise, I'm not really into rap. Definitely not heavy rap. Some hip hop style rap can be good. But none of this grime and that kind of stuff. Although I know a lot of people do like it very much. Ishak said, can you recommend us any videos or websites to revise specific topics to practice? First class maths is pretty good, I would say. Thank you, Hypershadic. Appreciate it very much. Okay, guys, I'm going to say arrivederci, hasta luego, goodbye HZ, goodbye Faith, goodbye Neve. Goodbye Vampire Sight, says Bish Beata. Goodbye Mirage, goodbye James, goodbye Tom. HZ says adios, see you tomorrow. Goodbye Gold Dominique, Zach Wine. Goodbye Ronial, goodbye Jay. Cat says bye everybody. Adios, Cat. Goodbye Noah, goodbye Aquafina. Again, incredible song. Goodbye Mohammed. Goodbye Yasser. Goodbye Jesslyn. Auf Wiedersehen Neve. Joachim. Adios. Hypershadic. Goodbye. AI Abs. Goodbye. Tom says ciao, and that's when we'll leave it on. Guys, adios, arrivederci, ciao, ciao, ciao. I will see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. foundation session. Otherwise, Sunday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. for a high session. Guys, see you later. Have a good day.